Hey there guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another best class setup in Warzone video. Now, today I am sure a lot of you are sick of the dual wield Diamantes and we're going to introduce something new to your life and it's very similar, but it's going to be less powerful and it might actually end up being the new best option once the Diamante does get nerfed, which I'm sure is coming in the near future. We are of course talking about the dual wield 1911s and these are from Cold War, so if you're using the Modern Warfare version of the 1911, it's not that good. Like, it's an okay option, but I mean, the Cold War 1911s are an absolute massive choice in this game. Lots of people are still using the Diamante, and that's really good. But when that does get nerfed, the Akimbo, the dual wield 1911s from Cold War are going to be absolutely fantastic in this game. Just before we do get into this dual wield 1911 class setup here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. I do very much appreciate it and it does very much help me out. Of course, we're still looking for 4,000 subscribers, which we are rocketing towards very quickly, which is super exciting. So I got to thank you all for that. And let's just jump straight into it here because these pistols are not as good as the Akimbo Diamante, but when that gets nerfed, these are going to be the new top choice in the sort of secondary slot. So of course, as usually, timestamps will be of course on the video's loading bar and in the description. So if you are looking for a specific part of this video, you can of course skip to it straight away. Talking about our primary first, you already know what the primary is in this game. The DMR-14 is the only option in the game at the moment at those medium to longer distances. You just absolutely destroy people. But of course, we have talked about this a lot recently, so we're only just going to talk about it very quickly. Agency silencer for damage range, the titanium barrel for that fire rate, a decent optic for extra damage range, of course, the field agent grip for that recoil control, the 30 round speed mags for more ammo to fire, or you can take something like the rear grip airborne elastic wrap. Skipping over that here, we're looking at those perks. Of course, you want EOD, Ghost, and Amped. We've got EOD or, of course, Cold-Blooded. I mean, EOD for that explosive resistance and then Cold-Blooded for staying off of those thermal optics. I like Cold-Blooded because it's not super common to have explosives in this game. Then, of course, we want Ghost to stay off of those UAVs, radar drones, and, of course, heartbeat sensors. And then Amped for being able to switch our weapons very quickly. Which with these pistols, those Akimbo dual wield 1911s from Cold War, of course, is a super great combination here. In the lethal slot, as usual, you can pretty much choose whatever you do prefer here. I like all the options in this particular slot. A throwing knife is hard to use, but you will still get a decent amount of work with that done, so you can pretty much choose whatever you do prefer here. In the tactical slot, you got to go with the mini UAV in your pocket, which is the heartbeat sensor, of course. Basically, if somebody doesn't have their loadout yet, doesn't have Ghost, you'll be able to see them on the radar, which is of course a great way to track people down and get easy kills. Now of course, what you've been waiting for with this one, the 1911 here, of course, the dual wield of dreams. We aren't looking at the Diamantes here today, and of course with the 1911s, boys, you do have to get this to max level 35 to unlock the dual wield attachment, very similar to the Diamantes, especially from Cold War. Now, of course, we're looking for that agency suppressor in that damage range, and of course that sound suppression, meaning we get that little bit of an extension, which is super nice here, but we also don't show up on the radar. Then, of course, we're looking for that heavy barrel, effective damage range, and of course, bullet velocity is one of the best choices that you can go with. You do want to steer clear of the task force option because we don't really need that extra damage. It's really not useful for getting extra bullets off time to kill and stuff like that. In the laser slot, we're looking for that 5 milliwatt laser. That 35% increase to our hip fire accuracy is super nice here. It doesn't necessarily show up as a visual sort of laser in the game in Warzone running around, but it definitely, trust me, it is there, of course. In the ammunition slot, we're going for the Salvo 14 round fast mags. Basically with this, we get the most amount of bullets to fire. Now this is basically half of the ammunition that we do get from the Akimbo Diamante, but of course, when that does get nerfed, we won't be using it anymore. So this is the option that we want to go with here. And then lastly, as I mentioned already, the stock, you do unlock this at max level 35. It's not something that you can get early unless you do buy bundles and stuff like that, which I don't think there's a bundle with this in it at the moment. But of course, if you do want to unlock this quickly, you're going to struggle a little bit outside of Cold War. So remember, level 35 to unlock the stock, but once you do unlock it, it is an absolute pumper in this game. So as we usually do with this particular style of video, we're going to jump into some gameplay now. If you are dropping out of the video, I do appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you go shred people with these things because they're a lot of fun to use. And because we are predicting the nerf of the Diamante, this is going to be the next big thing on the scene. Oh boy, here we go, lads. We're on it. Ooh. Good day, mate. Just, oh, nah, time to go. Not a bad start there. I know that Plunder isn't really the best example of how powerful a weapon is, but I mean, same health numbers and stuff like that, so you really can see, like, you can get an okay idea of just the power level of some of the weapons that you're going to drop into and stuff like that. With this particular setup, like, oh boy. Hello. Donk. Thanks for the bag, bro. No! We might be able to get the drop on this bloke here. Maybe. You do get a touch more damage range by the looks of things when you do compare it straight to the Diamati, but of course you don't get the exact same damage. Like with the Diamati, you just get such an intense burst of damage so quickly, there's not really anything that they can do. But as we mentioned in the start of this video, once that does get nerfed, this will be a pretty good option. Of course, there is a number of fairly similar options in the pistol class, like in the pistol setups and stuff like that. They're all fairly similar. This one can definitely go a long way to being one of the best class setups in terms of pistols and stuff like that in Warzone. And I know that Plunder, as I said, is not the best example of like something you can rely on to sort of tell you how good weapons are going to be in Warzone, but you get into gunfights all the time, so you get to like practice more, which is always beneficial. Like actually actually practicing how to use a weapon is fairly important in something like this, mostly because of things like that. Sometimes the recoil can be a little bit different to what you're expecting, and the weapon can bounce in an interesting way, and then things can get a little messy. But you can see you actually get very good damage range with these pistols, man. Like, look at that. Like, look at that. That's pretty intense how good that is, actually. Alright, he cracked his armor pretty early on. That's always a good thing. Nice. Didn't really stand much of a chance there, and that's a pretty good kill, actually. Oh, poor lad. You did not know we were there at all. That poor gent. Alright, let's go after that dude then. I think he's just in this. Look at the range, boys. Look at the range. Come on. Yeah. Alright. Now where? Come on. Oh boy. Yeah, this is not going to be one that I'm going to be able to hide from. Just going to have to win the gunfight. Get him with the pistols, boys. Get him with the pistols. Yeah, yeet. I didn't have to do that, but we got the job done anyway. Man, we haven't had a dub for a while, eh? It's been a long time since we've had a Warzone solos dub. Ugh. It's your boy. I think we finished with like, what, 5 kills? First with 5 kills is pretty lame. So of course, the dual-wield 1911s from Cold War aren't going to be as powerful as something like the Akimbo dual-wield Diamatis because they are actually like super broken. But once they do get nerfed, which I'm sure is happening very, very soon, of course, the 1911 is going to be a very reliable replacement for those. And just sort of being able to fill that sort of secondary slot. If you do get too close to someone and you've got, say, like a DMR or a longer range weapon, you can pull out your 1911s and still blast people away. It's not going to be as broken as the DMRs, but they'll still be pretty effective. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it, of course. Make sure you hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. And I will, of course, see you in the next one. Bye!